How should we read the Bible? It's a very important book for Christians, but it is big and it's complicated and full of things which aren't always easy to understand. So where do we start? In this short video, I'm going to suggest a way of approaching a passage, any passage from the Bible, that I hope will help you to hear God's voice within it. The first thing to know is that the Bible isn't a book at all. It's a collection of books, a whole library of writings, written over a period of more than 600 years by different people who didn't necessarily know each other, or what the others had written. It's made up of folk tales, history, poetry, lists of wise sayings, and prophecy, among other things. It isn't one consistent whole piece of writing. Different people looked at the same issues from different viewpoints and came up with different answers. But the books which were eventually collected together to form what we call the Bible were the ones which people felt helped them as they struggled with the big issues in life. And those are essentially the same issues we encounter today. Questions about life and death, love and hatred, hope and despair. Questions about how we can get along together, caring for each other. Questions about who we are and what we're here for, and who God is and whether God cares for us. When we read the Bible, we get a little glimpse at how people answered those questions in their times and contexts, and how they found God at work among them, often in surprising ways, faithfully loving them through thick and thin. That can help us to find God at work in our lives too. But to read the Bible in that way, we need to bring the whole of ourselves to it. That's why in the approach I'm going to suggest, I say that we need to read the Bible with our head, our hearts, and our hands. Firstly, we need to ask the head questions, to research what's actually going on in the passage, to find out more about it. It's tempting to skip that bit, but if we don't understand the who, what, where and when of a story, we'll probably miss some of its meaning. Then we need to ask the heart questions, to reflect on it, becoming aware of how it makes us feel. Finally, we need to ask hands questions, to think about how we need to respond to the story, what we might need to do because of it. Head, research. Heart, reflect. Hands, respond. Let's look in more detail at what the head, heart and hands questions might be. This isn't an exhaustive list, but just some suggestions to get you started. We start with the head questions. Who is involved in the story? What sort of people are they? Who are the Pharisees or the disciples? What might it have been like to have been disabled in biblical times, or a woman, or a child, or a slave, or whoever is involved in the story you're reading? Who was the story written by and for? It wasn't written with a 21st century audience in mind, so it's worth thinking about what the agenda and needs of the author and their original audience might have been. When was it set, and where? If it's a story about Jesus, did it take place near the beginning or the end of his ministry? Was he in Galilee or in Jerusalem, in the temple, in someone's home, by the lakeside? And what actually happens in it? What is said and done? Finding out the answers to these questions might mean searching around a bit, as well as looking closely at the passage itself and the passages that come before and after it. Wikipedia might be a good place to start, though of course it's only as accurate as the people who write it. Or there are some good reference books around too. Or you might like to ask someone else who you think knows more about the Bible than you do for help. Then, when we've thought about those head questions, we move on to ask the heart questions. These are the ones that help us to get inside the story emotionally. What does it make us feel like? What in the story delights us, comforts us, puzzles us, challenges us, troubles us? Who do we identify with or empathise with most in the story? If we'd been there, what would we have done? How would we have reacted? All of these questions help us to engage our imagination. Heart questions get to the heart of things. And then finally, there are the hands questions, the responses that the story draws out of us. What might we want to do as a result of reading this story? What might we want to pray about? How might the story change us? Head, heart, and hands. Research, reflect, respond. It's a pattern we can use for any Bible passage to help us bring the whole of ourselves to it, so that it comes alive for us and leads us more deeply into the life of God.